Hi folks, welcome to another Stall13.com video. Hopefully you saw a video about grooming your horse before you put a saddle on. If you didn't, you'll see it. It's in the same category as this one. Okay, what we're going to do is show you a nice, safe way to saddle a horse because a lot of people don't know that. We're going to go ahead, we're going to put a pad on. Now I have shown you there is a video that shows the difference between a saddle pad and a saddle blanket. You may want to watch that. We've got the pad in place, the horse has been groomed. Next what we're going to do is get the saddle. Now when you're putting a saddle on, you've got stirrups, you've got latigo, you've got front cinches, back cinches. Go ahead and put your saddle on. When you put a saddle on a horse, ladies and gentlemen, you really don't want to just throw it down like you're putting a pillow back on the living room couch. Notice how she gently lifted and sat this saddle on the horse. This is a synthetic saddle, I'll grant you that, but if you have to literally vault and slam your saddle onto the horse, you may want to think about either a shorter horse or a lighter saddle, kind of in the way here. She's organizing her cinch, her belly cinch. She's also getting all of her rest of her rigging in place. When you put a saddle on a horse, you always want to make sure that you have a sufficient amount of pad in the front. Now I like to call them cheaters. I love them. They're great shortcuts and they keep people from making mistakes. This particular, I know it's hard, I'm so sorry. She's trying to saddle her horse and I am like so in the way. A lot of blankets and pads actually have a little bit of leather here that kind of uses as a benchmark that you're supposed to have the front of your saddle, otherwise known as the pommel. Now what she's doing is kind of just stand to this side a little bit. No, come over here by me so they can see that. What she's doing now, I'll hold that up for you. What she's doing now is she is putting the cinch, getting ready to suck up the cinch. Now, there's one thing that I want to talk about when cinching a horse, ladies and gentlemen, and that is, and it's true, I don't care if it's a relative, I don't care if it's your best friend or the best person you've ever known. There is never any reason to take your knee or a fist and to punch or knee a horse because you're trying to get them to exhale so that you can get that saddle tight. There's no reason to sit there and use all your strength to jerk on this strap to tighten this cinch. You can literally get a saddle so tight it's uncomfortable. You can get a saddle so tight that the horse can't breathe properly. You want to make sure that your saddle is tight, excuse me for a second, so that when you take both of your hands and you use quite a bit of force, that notice this whole horse is rocking, but the saddle isn't moving. The whole horse is kind of moving, kind of like shaking your bed, but the saddle isn't slipping. Also, when your cinch is proper, you want to make sure that it's behind the elbow, that it's not going to cause any galls, any hair loss or scraping here. You should be able to, with a lot of force, you should be able to take a couple of fingers and slide it underneath this cinch. But it should be a major effort, and it should be almost uncomfortable for you and almost uncomfortable for the horse. Now, whether this is nylon or leather, doesn't matter. Whether you're able to use this buckle or not, a lot of times I recommend if people are trail riders and you're going on a lot of uphills and downhills, if you know how your horse is saddled, take a Sharpie pen or something and mark this and go ahead and make an auxiliary hole here so that you have this buckle that helps stabilize this horse. If your knot came undone, if your nylon or your leather broke, or your D-ring or something, you have this that actually buckles in somewhere that gives you just a little bit of extra safety and security. Hardly anybody does it, but I just want to give you all the information we can. Right now this horse is saddled. Some people will include a breast collar. Some people will put a back cinch on. A lot of you that have mules, well, you know, there's a lot of rigging that's going to go behind here on a mule. Oh, you do have one. Okay, also, you don't want to buck, so you don't want this to be real tight because that's how they make horses buck, is with this back cinch being tight. Now we've got a breast collar as well. She's hooking up her breast collar. Now the other thing that I recommend, and I made a video about it, is if you're going trail riding, riding in a ditch on the side of the road, even in a pasture, I recommend that you go ahead, excuse me girls, is leave the halter and the lead rope on the horse, put whatever type of controlled devices, hackamores, bozels, bits, bridles, head stalls, what have you, around the horse, but leave this on. We made a video about it. Check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another Stall13.com video. Oh, you girls did great. Take care of yourself and your horses.